Good evening. The time now is 11 p.m. Our top stories. Former Prime Minister Najib Razak lost his appeal in court, while former U.S. President Donald Trump criminally charged. Hello there, you're now with me, Dil Talit, and you're now tuning into TVS Nightline. We begin with this. Former Prime Minister Dato Sri Najib Tun Razak today failed in his final bid to get a review of his 12-year jail sentence, conviction and fine for misappropriation of 42 million ringgit in the SRC International Sdn Bhd funds. The federal court, in a 4-1 majority decision today, ruled that Dato Sri Najib Tun Razak was actually the author of his own misfortune, which caused his appeal hearings not heard by the previous panel.
The majority decision was read out by Federal Court Judge Dato Vernon Ong Lam Kiat, who pointed out that it was Najib's own counsel who had refused to make oral submissions right from the onset of the appeal hearing last year, despite counsel Dato Hisham Teh Poh Teh being allowed to do so by Chief Justice Tun Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat, who led the previous apex bench that dismissed the appeal. Chief Judge of Sabah and Sarawak, Dato Abdul Rahman Sebli, who chaired a 5-member bench today, was the only one who dissented. Others on the bench were Federal Court Judges Dato Rosaria Bujang and Dato Nordin Hassan and Court of Appeal Judge Dato Abu Bakar Jais. Najib, who is currently serving a 12-year jail term in Kajang Prison, had sought to overturn the decision made by the previous panel of the Federal Court on August 23rd last year. With today's decision, it is the end of Najib's attempt to be acquitted, as his review application before the Apex Court was his last avenue via court proceedings. This means that the 69-year-old Najib will serve out the remainder of his 12-year jail term in the Kajang prison.
Meanwhile, in the United States, former U.S. President Donald Trump has been indicted by a Manhattan grand jury after investigations were conducted regarding the hush money paid to adult actor Stormy Daniels, making him the first former U.S. president to face criminal charges amid another attempt to run for the White House. Specific charges are not yet known, but it is likely to be unsealed in the coming days. Now, despite the accusations, Trump remained steadfast, saying he's completely innocent and has no plans to drop out from the 2024 presidential race.
Trump uploaded a post on truthsocial.com stating that these accusations are attempts to force him to withdraw from running as president, and accused Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg for trying to hurt his chances of winning a re-election against current President Joe Biden. So last year, Bragg had successfully prosecuted Trump's business for tax fraud charges, which resulted to a $1.61 million in criminal penalty. The public views on the matter is split into 3 sides, either supporting or going against Trump, and those who said that both sides have their respective agendas.
Donald Trump, I think it's the best thing that can happen in the world. Yeah. Once he's gone, the world's safe.
Why do you think that?
Because he's a tyrant. He wants to be like Putin. You know, he admires guys like him. And when you admire someone, it's because you want to be like that.
What's the difference between Clinton and Paula Jones and Trump and Stormy Daniels?
Ah, good question. Good question. He didn't get indicted.
I know. I feel like there's some hypocrisy on both sides playing, so I don't know. That's all I got.
Totally wrong. That's all I have to say.
Why is it totally wrong?
That's my opinion. So,
why do you feel that way?
It's a political witch hunt.
Still in court update, the Court of Appeal today was told that Sam Ting's conviction for reckless driving that killed 8 teen cyclists cannot stand, as the charge framed against her was defective. Her lawyer, Dato Hisham Teh Poh Teh, submitted that there was duplicity of the charge, as the public prosecutor had included 2 distinct offences in the charge, namely reckless driving and driving in a dangerous manner.
Hisham was submitted in Sam's appeal against a High Court's decision, which convicted her of reckless driving and sentenced her to 6 years in jail and a fine. The counsel argued that his client has been prejudiced as there was a failure of justice because she had been convicted of a charge not recognized in law. Sam, 27, was initially acquitted and discharged without being called to enter her defense by the Johor Bahru Magistrate Court on November 18, 2019, on a charge of reckless driving that caused the death of teenagers who were riding on a modified bicycles, commonly known as basikalaja. She was charged with committing the offence at Jalan Lingkaran Dalam, Johor Bahru, Johor at 3:20 a.m. on February 18, 2017. She was 22 years old at the time of the incident. In today's appeal hearing, Hisham also argued that in the magistrate court, the prosecution case was that of reckless driving. But when the case went up before the first High Court judge, the prosecution stand changed into dangerous driving. The court fixed April 11th to resume hearing after Deputy Public Prosecutor Tunku Amir Zaki Tunku Abdul Rahman said he would take 2 hours to submit.
In local update, the new Sumerian Islamic Cemetery complex officiated earlier today provides convenience for funeral arrangements for the Muslim community. The 5.6 million ringgit facility are equipped with funeral management facilities, prayer rooms, multi-purpose rooms, restrooms, parking spaces, and other amenities.
Satu kemudahan yang telah dibangunkan oleh lembaga masjid untuk masyarakat Islam di kawasan perkuburan Sumerian. Alhamdulillah kita telah dapat membangunkan bangunan ini yang belanjanya lebih kurang 5.6 juta. Bagi kita memberikan kemudahan-kemudahan kepada masyarakat Islam mereka agak selesa di dalam usaha kita menguruskan perkuburan dan mungkin pengurusan jenazah hendaklah dilaksanakan secepat mungkin termasuk waktu malam, maka kita mempunyai semua kemudahan yang dapat membantu dalam urusan perkuburan.
Abang Johari said this in his speech when launching the SICC on Friday, March 31st. Previously, the Chief Executive Officer CEO of the Sarawak State Mass Welfare Trust, Dato' Abang Abdul Wahab Julius, said the cemetery will be open to the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The groundbreaking ceremony was performed by the Deputy Minister for Utilities and Communications Sarawak, Dato' Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, on 22nd December 2020.
A new plot of land to expand the current Sumerian Muslim Cemetery has been approved by the Premier of Sarawak. Abang Johari said that the new land, situated behind the cemetery, could accommodate future demand of Sumerian Muslim Cemetery by 2050.
InsyaAllah ini akan dapat digunakan dan saya tahulah sampai 2050 pada masa 20.
Furthermore, he also revealed that the Sarawak government is identifying potential sites for cemeteries statewide.
Kalau di situ sangat padat dekat Masjid Hadir, maka kita sudah ada kawasan yang baru dan untuk kita menempatkan satu kawasan perkuburan kita. Begitu juga dengan ini.
Meanwhile, Abang Johari calls on all parties to assist in the preservation of this cemetery.
Kita menggunakan cara baru semua. Api kita, tubuh kita pasang api. Dia macam taman. Memanglah bila kita pakai kepasang air pil yang tengah mahal. Bila itu kita pakai solar. patut ada sistem. Kita gunakan solar untuk menggerakkan tubuh kita. Ini adalah cara baru dan solar tu mesti kita maintain. Jadi kita minta pakar-pakar kita, anak-anak Islam yang sudah berjaya di dalam pengajian solar untuk membantu bersedekah sedikit membantu untuk kita waktu lapang bersama dengan masjid untuk membersihkan solar.
University Technology Mara Sarawak has become the third campus to adopt the Beam e-scooter initiative to facilitate student mobility on campus. Of the 150 units received, 90 units are allocated at the main Samarahan campus, while the remaining 60 units are assigned to the Samarahan 2 campus.
Ini merupakan antara inisiatif unit kualiti kita untuk memastikan kualiti perkhidmatan dalam kampus, terutamanya pergerakan pelajar within the campus kita tingkatkan. Ya, dan kita juga ingin align inisiatif ini dengan apa yang dimau oleh kerajaan negeri, terutamanya inisiatif Yang Berhormat Premier untuk memastikan kita right on digital technology. Banyak lagi actually inisiatif yang kita akan laksanakan along the years nanti.
He said so to the media after launching the UitM Sarawak branch micromobility e-scooter event on Friday. Meanwhile, the students have described that the presence of Beam e-scooters will make it easier to facilitate their movement to attend lectures.
Kami rasanya akan lebih memudahkan pergerakan dalam kampus lah, sebab kadang-kadang kan kelas jauhnya tetaplah tempat dalam kelas, so boleh pakai untuk pergi kelas on time.
Ya, boleh memudahkan lagi student lah. Contoh macam mau pergi kelas yang jauh ya, sini boleh pakai boleh pergi sini setidaknya boleh pusing-pusing area situ lah.
For me, skuter ni dapat memudahkanlah untuk para pelajar untuk pergi ke kelas, sebab seperti yang kita tahu kampus tu a bit besar, so macam kalau dengan tu nya lebih menyenangkan pelajar lah.
Now get this, an unlikely intruder shock on Lucas as it somehow slithered its way into the engine bay of a parked car at the Batu Lintang Teacher Education Institute earlier this morning. The 3-meter-long reticulated python, known for its love of warmth, decided to seek out the perfect spot to increase its body temperature. The Fire and Rescue Department received a distress call at around 7:54 a.m. and a team from the nearby Batu Lintang Fire Station was quickly dispatched to capture the snake. The team found the python nestled cozily in the car's engine and went to work safely removing it. The snake is currently being held at the station as the firefighters are still awaiting further instructions on where to transfer it. This just goes to show that wildlife can sometimes find refuge in the most unexpected of places. Carrying around a thick wallet of cash in a crowded space like Ramadan Bazaar have become less preferable as people are now opting for cashless payment due to its safe and convenient transaction. The adoption of such service receives encouraging response in Metro City Ramadan Bazaar, making it the first Ramadan Bazaar to respond to the Sarawak government's call towards digital economy.
Chairman of Metro City Night Market, Karuzi Bol Hassan, aims to go fully cashless.
Kami orang disebabkan saranan kita pun premier juga ekonomi digital. Kami orang macam tu. Kami orang dah start tu daripada tahun lepas. Kami orang dah start dengan Mbak Sida mana-mana kira macam dah Sawape, dah bus apa semualah untuk menjadikan Sida tu semua berdaftar untuk cashless lah. Jadi untuk setakat kini tu dua-dua bahagian kering dan bahagian basah kami orang lebih kurang dah dalam 70% dah menggunakan cashless, dan kami orang pun target hujung tahun tu paling-paling pun untuk Januari 2024 kami orang nak jadikan pasar malam tu adalah pasar malam cashless.
He added, apart from easing the transaction between buyers and sellers, the adoption of cashless payment aims to prevent cash-related crime.
Sikit juanya untuk mengelakkan kes duit palsu tu sebenarnya. Sebab kami orang di situ, apabila musim-musim perayaan macam tu, akan keluarlah duit RM20. Memang ada palsu. Jadi kesian dengan peniaga kita, sudah banyak kali terkena. Apabila sudah dapat duit, kena ke RM50 ke RM20. Nah, jadi macam kami rasa apabila menggunakan cashless tu lebih selamat lah insyaAllah.
Meanwhile, sellers opting for cashless transaction have managed to diversify their services.
Kebanyakan pengunjung di situ memilih untuk menggunakan QR code tu sebabnya cashless bah, si gambar apa-apa cash dia really good. Si payah nak berhitung lagi, si payah nak bersunsung lagi. So senang bah.
Cashless.
Kenapa?
Sebab kita tidak mudah tertipu dengan duit palsu. Kita senang sibuk ambil pergi ke bank dan terus prefer dengan orang yang berjual.
However, some users still prefer cash. Such option is often seen at the wet market selling raw materials such as fish, vegetables and many more.
Online macam kita agent dapat pakai bila-bila.
Secara personally, macam mun kami pergi tempat-tempat macam tu berjual macam tu, kami prefer cash. Sebab senang lagi Pak. No, paling suka depends dengan lokasi. Yes, cashless ada tempat boleh guna.
Golden, crispy pastry soaked in glossy syrup, encasing creamy cheese filling and topped with pistachio nuts. It's no wonder that this decadent Middle Eastern treat is a hit among Bazaar goers looking to break their fast. Once viral during the Kuching Food Festival, kunafa is now a usual sight at Ramadan bazaars in town.
Untuk dari tahun 2019 kami berjual sampai kini, tapi untuk semenjak tahun 2022 atau lepas, kami orang start berjual secara bergerai lah. Mula-mula memang berjual kat Tasik Biru, and then we move to Uptown Metro City, and then untuk bulan Ramadan tu kami orang fokus dekat Bazaar Ramadan Sediam Negeri. First of all, kunafa tu adalah manisan Arab yang memang famous kat Timur Tengah, terutamanya dekat Turki, dekat Mekah Sinun. So untuk rakyat Malaysia khususnya memang bawa viral benda tu. Tapi actually since kami memang berjual lama dulu, kami memang padah dengan customer kami. Kami punya signature adalah kawi cheese ya. Kawi cheese tu untuk orang yang baru kenal kunafa, cheese yang memang memainkan peranan dalam rasa kunafa ya.
For some sweet tooth, the sweet treat is a substitute for the usual dates for breaking their fast.
Untuk macam berbuka di petang hari harus ada benda yang manis, menjaga kenyamanan kunafa lah yang terbaik untuk dicoba. Sebab kunafa tu kita tahunya bukan dari Sarawak, dari negeri Arab. So sokonglah jaga kita dari tempatan dari Sarawak tu, dari Kuching, membeli kunafa di situ lah, di bazar orang di stadium lah, Putrajaya.
Kami suka kunafa tu sebabnya manis, kayaknya lembut, nyaman dimakan. Kami selalu juga cari tu kat stadium. Di sini lah yang buka. Memang akan cari IQ kat Arab tu sebabnya nyaman kunafa tu.
Setakat tu kunafa tu memang sedap lah, nyaman dirasa. So, rasa cheese-nya pun okey, steady. So, si pernah mengecewakan lah kunafa tu. Pun setiap kali tempat tu macam ada event-event ke apa ke, mesti kami akan pergi lah. Nang si pernah mengecewakan kunafa tu. So, kita boleh order lah. Boleh mbak, nenek, datuk orang, mak ayah, boleh.
Thanks to their increasing popularity, the kunafa is also available in chocolate variety.
We'll be taking a short break. Coming up right after, Anwar pays a courtesy call to President Xi Jinping, plus Ministry assures sufficient egg and chicken supply for Eid al-Fitr. Right here on TVS Nightline, we'll be back. Welcome back. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim paid a courtesy call on China's President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People on Friday, in a first face-to-face meeting between the two leaders. In his introductory remarks, Anwar said the government and the people of Malaysia highly value the existing relationship with China. The two leaders then proceeded to a meeting that lasted for about 45 minutes. In his brief welcoming remarks, Xi said he appreciated the fact that despite the holy month of Ramadan, the Prime Minister had accepted his invitation to visit China. Xi said he also took note of the 10th anniversary of the establishment of the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership between both nations this year and the 50th anniversary of the Malaysia-China diplomatic relationship next year. Hence, he said it is hoped that under Anwar's leadership, Malaysia and China will work more closely together to bring the relationship to greater heights. Xi said both countries have also agreed to build a China-Malaysia community with a shared future. Anwar is among the first foreign leaders to visit China and met with Xi after his re-election as China's president for the third term on March 10th. China is also the 8th country that he had undertaken an official visit to so far. Now, earlier on today, Anwar said that Malaysia will not allow any big power to dictate its decision and future direction. Anwar asserted that as a free and independent state, Malaysia will defend its sovereignty and decide what is best for the country.
Why we need to rewrite history, or what we term as the reconstruction of history. Because in the past, it's only the West that excelled.
He said this in a response to a question on the China-US rivalry during a public lecture at the renowned Tsinghua University in Beijing earlier today. The Prime Minister, who is currently on his maiden official visit here this week, said he has been seen as pro-China, but as a trading nation, he said Malaysia wants to build excellent relationships with all countries, including China and the United States. He said Malaysia does not see China as a competitor nor a threat, although there may be some disagreements between the two countries.
The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry has guaranteed a sufficient supply of chicken and egg throughout the month of Ramadan ahead of Hari Raya Aidilfitri celebration. It said that farm operators, through the Federation of Livestock Farmers Association of Malaysia, have given an assurance that there will be a sufficient supply of chicken meat and eggs. It has also held engagement sessions with the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the Department of Veterinary Services, the Malaysian Quarantine and Inspection Services Department, as well as producers to ensure that the issue of supply and price of chicken and eggs is dealt with holistically. It added that following the nationwide inspection on ceiling prices for chicken and eggs up until Thursday, 2,711 cases were compounded for offences such as selling above the control price and failure to comply with price tagging. The Ministry of Education MOE will cooperate with the Works Ministry as part of its efforts to monitor dilapidated school buildings throughout the country. Deputy Education Minister Lim Hui Ying said the collaboration serves to ensure that all inspections and monitoring of the schools are done carefully. She said 830 schools have been listed as dilapidated, and most of them are in Sabah and Sarawak with scales between 6 to 7 and thus in need of urgent repair. According to its guideline, Scale 6 refers to buildings that are unsafe and with confirmation of their status by the District Education Office and State Education Department, whereas Scale 7 refers to unsafe buildings with confirmation by the Public Works Department. The upcoming Subsidy for Diesel initiative will not include school buses and public transportation, as this is being done to avoid any price hikes. Deputy Finance Minister Dato Sri Ahmad Maslan said the implementation of diesel subsidy will begin when the subsidized diesel control system is completed in the second half of the year.
Kita akan cuba menyelesaikan perisian untuk subsidi bersasar diesel. Mungkin bulan 6, 7, 8 begitu perisiannya sudah lengkap.
barulah kita boleh launch subsidi berasaskan diesel. Tetapi subsidi berasaskan diesel ini tidak akan dikenakan kepada bas sekolah, tak dikenakan kepada pengangkutan awam. Pengangkutan awam tidak akan dikenakan sebab kita tidak mahu ada kenaikan dari segi tambang.
Maslan said this to reporters after launching the Public Sector Home Financing Board LPPSA e-counter and clients charter on Friday. He continued by saying that the matter would be expedited, where a special committee had been established which involved several departments to look at the implementation method. Maslan also said that if the targeted subsidy for fuel, such as petrol, diesel, and gas, was implemented for only B40 and M40 groups, the government would be able to save around 16 to 17 billion ringgit.
And finally, award-winning actress Gwyneth Paltrow has won a countersuit against a former optometrist who sued her for more than $300,000. The retired eye practitioner filed the case after he suffered a traumatic brain injury and 4 broken ribs when he and Paltrow collided at a ski slope in 2016. Paltrow did not suffer any major injury from the incident. At the end of the trial, however, the 8-person jury sided with Paltrow, ruling that Sanderson was guilty and awarded the actress the $1 in the symbolic damages that she had asked for the countersuit.
Terry Sanderson at fault? Yes. Was Terry Sanderson's fault a cause Gwyneth Paltrow's? Did Terry Sanderson's fault cause Gwyneth Paltrow's harm? Yes. Comparative fault. What % of the fault do you assign to Terry Sanderson? 100%. Damages. What amount fairly compensates Gwyneth Paltrow for economic damages? $1. Signed March 30th, 2023.
During the trial, 76-year-old Sanderson said that Paltrow had skied out of control when she hit him from the back and sent him flying on a hill at Deer Valley Resort. This was backed by Sanderson's friend who saw the incident. Paltrow, on the other hand, had told the court that she was skiing with her 2 children when suddenly 2 skis came between her skis and forced her legs apart, and that there was a body pressing against her, accompanied with a very strange grunting noise. They both then fell to the ground with Paltrow on top of Sanderson and held no accountability of any harm that had affected Sanderson's health tremendously.
And that wraps TVS Nightline for tonight. I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend ahead.